We feel such satisfaction about what has taken place here today. In fact, the feeling of motion forward, the awareness that we have of the movement in your energies, Esther can't find words that are delicious enough to convey them to you. We are satisfied in knowing that as a result of this conversation, that you are going to for sure recognize the increase in momentum of your own desires. And you're going to have a heightened awareness of where you are standing with your current thought in relationship to what you want, which means you're going to know when to just change the subject. You're going to know which friends to hang around with and which friends not to hang around with for a while. You're going to have more keen awareness of what to look for on television or what movies to seek out. In other words, you'll have a stronger sense of what really feels good to you. And most of all, we're happy to announce to you that you're going to be more willing than you have been for a while to please yourself by moving forward to your own impulses and no one else's. The people around you for a little while are going to say, hey, where'd you go and what happened? I liked you better when you were pleasing me in lots of different ways. And you'll smile lovingly at them because you're not abandoning them. You're just finding yourself again first. You're just tuning into the whole of who you are. And you might even find yourself inspired to say to them, I just had to go find me because I wanted to give more of me to you. I wanted to give the whole of me to you. Jerry always wanted, as they were writing books, he always wanted the spine of the book to say self-help from your total self. Because that's really what's going on. It is all self-help, but there's no self-help for you until you've tuned into the whole of who you are. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain delightedly in your vortex. I love you so good.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I've been exposed to your teaching for more than 6 years.
Yeah.
I think I got to the level 5, I think.
How'd you feel about this day?
It's a big accident that I'm here and...
About this conversation today, did you find new pieces?
A lot.
Yeah. You're in a different place right now than you were when you walked in the door.
Yeah. And so as I mentioned, I kind of, what you just said, I've been addicted to the manifestation. I was manifesting in a second whatever I thought was happening. It was kind of scary. And what happened then, I was so happy about my life that I became very aware of death, and I had this fear of dying from this physical world because I loved it so much.
That's logical, isn't it? When you really, 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 really like something, then the idea of it not being here like it is now is uncomfortable.
And then I manifested cancer.
Yeah?
I'm fine now. Did I manifest it?
Of course.
So now the question is how I not to come back to that state again.
Well, everything is about this balance of energy, isn't it? And you've heard so much about that here today. Let us explain it to you this way. We started this way. When you have a desire, it's like plunking an engine on your train going that way. And then when you have a doubt, it's like plunking an engine on the train going that way, which causes you to have a stronger desire, which sometimes causes you to have a stronger doubt. And so when there's a really, really, really strong desire and plenty of resistance, often that resistance manifests in something like that. So when the resistance is really strong, a couple of things happen relative to the subject of death. Sometimes the path of least resistance is to reemerge into non-physical. In fact, sometimes that was the point all along. Someone is ready to make their transition, and that's just a comfortable and easy way to do it, and so off they go. But when someone like you has the desire that is strong as yours is, and then has resistance that produces something that is more aggravating and more aggravating, but you manage to bring that into alignment, you don't have to worry about that again, because your desire for living happily ever after is stronger than it has ever been and will serve you. Now, this conversation that we have had here today will make certain that you will be able to manage your energies, because now you know something that almost nobody knows, and that is that it is possible to be satisfied even before you get all the way to the manifestation of something. That really, after all, is what faith is. It's a belief in something wanted, and that's what happened to you before you discovered your remission. That's exactly what happened to you. Your desire was so strong, and you found a way to have faith or belief in what was coming even before it came. And as you found that way to find some satisfaction, which felt to you like just being less afraid than you were before, then the momentum of that just carried you all the way to the manifestation of what you wanted. None of you ever have any need, and it is unlikely that you will ever live something that is dramatically apart from what you want. Now you know what to do about it. But there are a few things that you have to decide for yourself that you're willing to implement, and these are what those things are. First, it is important that you acknowledge that you are more than this physical body, that this physical body matters, and that it is an extension of so much more. And that non-physical aspect of you is a strong point of attraction. And if your life that you've been living causes this part of you, this non-physical part of you, to attract in a stronger way than you are letting in, it's like if you really want something and you're really not letting it in, you have really a lot of tension. If you sort of want it and you're sort of not letting it in, you have sort of some tension. You see what we're getting at? So when there's strong desire, like you articulated a little while ago, a little bit of resistance goes a long way when there's strong desire.
Wow. I became aware of you about 10 years ago. I've been to one meeting, and life was going good. Had abundance, success, and good family, good marriage. And about 5 years ago, my wife had an accident. And our relationship changed in the event that I am the caregiver. I have caregivers that work with me, but I'm the one responsible.
Or I am the one most interested.
Okay. And I have a very high level of interest.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge. And one of the things that is the biggest challenge has been my feeling of guilt if I do something for me versus the option of spending all the time taking care of my wife.
Yeah.
I've always handled stress well. Prior to that, and things were working very well prior to the accident. And the shift.
We're going to give you something that's going to be so helpful. You're
Thank
really
you.
going to like this. And so just relax, because we're going to approach it a little differently than you might think, but you're really going to get it. Because of what you've been living, you will understand it perfectly. So everything that we've been talking about already was the precursor to the platform, the basis of this conversation that we're going to have right now. So you picked up with us on this part about getting into alignment with who you really are, and then following those impulses. And we want to say to all of you that really, until you take the opportunity to meditate on Sunday and then Monday and then Tuesday and then Wednesday, and really quiet your mind and feel yourself moving into a different day as each day unfolds, once you really start that, then everything that we're saying here, you're just going to have to take our word for it, which means it's not really going to be all that meaningful to you unless you've already had experience that confirms these words. But once you have the opportunity of getting into the receptive mode because of meditation and knowing you've done it, and then begin receiving impulses and knowing the difference. Now, we're just going to show you some examples. So Esther sat to meditate a few weeks ago and quieted her mind and felt that blissful feeling of detachment and that important experience of detachment, and therefore no vibrational point of attraction really happening for a few minutes. And then a thought came into her mind, and it was such a strong thought that she would call it an impulse. And the impulse was about a furniture store. And it was so strong that she got right up, put her shoes on, gathered up her things, put them in her purse, and off she went. And when she got there, something that she'd been looking for was right there. And then she thought, when I meditate, I think my impulse should be about world peace or something important, but a piece of furniture? Really? Yeah, really. Whatever's in your vortex that you've been asking for, your inner being will give you the impulse, which is the path of least resistance. And of course, those are not the only impulses Esther receives, but they were some of the early ones that she began receiving once we began talking about thoughts turning to things. Now, this is the reason that we're giving this to you in this sort of seeming long way. When an impulse comes and it feels really, 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 really good, you can know for sure it came right from your inner being in answer to the things that you're asking for, and that it is a step toward your fulfilling yourself. And unless you are fulfilling yourself, you're not going to be feeling any satisfaction. So of course, there are so many intentions that you have in your vortex regarding many things, and especially regarding the caregiving to your wife, especially about that. But as impulses come, they're going to come on a lot of different levels about a lot of different things. And you'll get better and better and better at receiving them. They come all the time. But here's what happens to so many of you. Many of your impulses come from this manifested world that is a lot about need. It's about what I need to do. You use the word responsibility. It's about, if I don't do this, then this unpleasant or uncomfortable thing will happen. Well, when your impulses come from that, they're not coming from this pure place. And while you might satisfy something to a certain extent, there's no replenishing in it. And after a while of operating too much from those kinds of impulses, the replenishing mode is sort of shut down. Your intuitive mode is sort of shut down. And your joy mode is sort of shut down too. So when you have meditated and the impulse comes, then follow that impulse. And after a little while, you'll begin to see that your sensitivity, your timing, all of these things really improve. Now still, we're just giving you the basis of what we really want you to hear. And we're happy to acknowledge how well you received everything that we said just now so far. But this is the piece that we want you, all of you, to hear. You are more practiced at feeling for an impulse from someone else than you are from your own inner being. You all give yourself away far too much and then resent it. And it's because you are not fulfilling your connection, you're not receiving your true impulses, which would lead you to all of those wonderful places too, just with a stronger, more replenishing energy stream. Not for a moment would you do less for your wife. Not for a moment would you abandon her or do less for her. You're just going to stay in the replenishing mode, and your timing and everything else is going to be better. And so in short, what we're saying is you got to care about following the impulses that feel good to you rather than following the impulses that feel good to someone else. It's big. It's really, really, really powerful, deliberate creating. But you're really, really going to like it when you get there.